release other Americans wrongfully detained around the world, and it is on our highest priority list to bring those. I can't talk to you about the details of what's happening behind the scenes, but I can tell you that it is one of our highest priorities to bring these Americans home.
When I go around the country as a reporter and I talk to black Americans, they bring up voting rights. They also bring up police reform.
Yep.
And they say 2 years after George Floyd was killed, you have Jaylen Walker in Ohio,
Yep.
60 wounds from police.
Gunshots.
And 60 gunshots.
Yep.
Gun violence still killing black Americans from
Yep.
police officers. Polls, though, for this administration among black Americans has softened. How will you turn that around?
Black Americans in general, should be demanding, and rightly, that we pass legislation that addresses these issues that you have mentioned. I was an author of the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. I believe very strongly that we should have accountability in all systems, including in policing.
They're frustrated. Police reform is stalled.
You're right. I mean, but again, there is a connection between what we want to have happen and the power of Congress to actually make it happen when it comes to changing the laws, when it comes to writing and then putting in effect laws that create accountability and greater fairness in our system, be it our criminal justice system, be it our healthcare delivery system, all of that. But I will say this, what we have also seen is that black Americans and all Americans said, look at the United States Supreme Court. There has never in the history of that court been a black woman to serve. There now is. Because people stood in line in 2020 for hours, demanding that of the things that they would stand in line to see happen, there would be a Ketanji Brown Jackson on the United States Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson on the United States Supreme Court. So there are demands that were made by voters saying, these are the things we want out of this administration. And a lot of those demands have been met in the first year and a half. There's still more work to do, without any question.
Up on Capitol Hill, there is speculation among some Democrats and some Republicans that President Biden won't run for re-election in 2024. What's your message to those who say that?
Listen to President Biden. He intends to run. And if he does, I intend to run with him. So there you go.
Vice President Harris, thank you very much for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Good to be with you.
Have you been in an accident? Chilton Auto Body has served our community for more than 50 years, and we're also the first Tesla-certified body shop. Chilton Auto Body has 15 convenient Bay Area locations to help restore your vehicle to pre-accident condition, and we make it easy for you in your time of need. It's as easy as taking a photo of the damage. Initial estimate for your collision repairs in a timely manner. For more information, go to ChiltonAutobody.com.
So yes, it was after midnight, and the glue on your kid's mission project refused to dry. But once everything was finished, you realized the smooth white and terracotta make this piece of history beautiful. CertaPro painters have good news. Your home paint project doesn't have to come with the frustration and panic of your child's 4th grade project. Skip the stress and still end with the look you love. To get your painting project started, go to CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Information available at CertaPro.com.
We turn now to the Republican Party. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin is a newcomer to politics who won in an upset last November. We want to welcome Governor Youngkin to the broadcast. Good morning, Governor. Let's begin with the Supreme Court and abortion. You just heard from Vice President Harris. She said, you don't have to abandon your faith to believe that a woman should have the ability to decide whether she gets an abortion or not. Do you agree?
First of all, good morning, and thank you for having me. And the debate on abortion has been raging for a long time. And I believe, as a pro-life governor, that life begins at conception. And my job as a pro-life governor in a state in Virginia where 18 months ago the debate in our General Assembly was around whether abortion should be allowed all the way up through and including birth, funded by taxpayer money. And so this in Virginia is a debate that we are going to run too. The Supreme Court's decision, I agree with, that this is a decision for states to make by elected officials. citizens of Virginia. That's why right out of the box, I called for a 15-week pain threshold bill to be formed and crafted by a bipartisan group of legislators. And I think this is what it's all about. This is a moment for our country to have a discussion around this, and each state will decide something different. And I think that's the real value of the Supreme Court's decision.
You've said you proposed a 15-week ban. Will you ever pursue a full ban on abortion in Virginia?
The reality is that as a pro-life governor in a state like Virginia, where I have a Senate that's controlled by Democrats, a House that's controlled by Republicans, we have to find a way to get things done. And I believe that's what we've been able to do, is get things done at a time where you have to bring people together in order to make progress. As I said, I believe life begins at conception. In Virginia, we've got to work with a Senate and a House. This is what we've been doing.
Pursue a full ban.
Well, I believe that what my job is to get something done. And I believe we can get a 15-week pain threshold bill done in Virginia. For the first time, think about it. This was a state, again, that just 18 months ago was talking about enabling abortion all the way up through and including birth. And now we're able to talk about a 15-week pain threshold bill where a baby feels pain. This is a remarkable moment for us, and it's an opportunity I'm not going to let go.
You support exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Some other Republicans, are they wrong?
Again, I think this is a moment where we have to reflect on our personal beliefs. And as a pro-life governor, I have really reflected on my own faith and my beliefs, and I do believe that there should be exceptions that are made in the case of rape and incest, and when the life of the mother is truly at risk. Again, this is a moment, though, where people have to come together. The one thing that's very much agreed upon in Virginia today is that we want fewer abortions, not more. And I think this is a chance over the next 5 months for a bipartisan group of legislators to craft a path there and give me a bill that I can sign.
On education, one of your first actions as governor was to propose the end of teaching of, quote, inherently divisive concepts. What's an example?
Well, in Virginia schools, and we saw Loudoun County literally be ground zero, we saw students being taught that they should view everything through a lens of race and judge one another. And again, we're not talking about forgetting our history. In fact, one of the things we have to do is teach all of our history, the good and the bad. But we shouldn't play privilege bingo with children. We shouldn't teach children that they should judge one another, and one group's privileged and another group is going to find it hard in life necessarily. And we shouldn't blame someone and have them form a view that they're inherently racist because of their race or their sex or their religion. We shouldn't judge one another. We can do this. And so right out of the box, we worked in order to remove inherently divisive concepts from curriculum. We absolutely are pushing to teach all history, the good and the bad. And again, we can bring people together around this as opposed to divide them.
It's a challenge, though. You say Virginia's willing to teach all history. Suppose your Board of Education comes to you, Governor, and says to you, Governor, the Civil War, we recommend it's too divisive. We want to call it the war between the states. What would you do?
Well, I don't think they're going to do that.
So they could.
But I don't believe they will. And I think what we all recognize is that slavery was it was a black spot in our history. I mean, it is so abhorrent. We have to teach it. And this is not a moment where we're running away from these topics. And this is why I'm so excited about our education agenda in Virginia. I mean, we stepped into our day one game plan with a comprehensive education plan to have the highest education budget in the history of Virginia, to fund special ed programs, to fund into laboratory schools, to give teachers raises. We got it all done, all of it. That's what's so exciting, is that we brought people together around an education agenda which is common sense focused. And again, I believe that there's certain groups that want to drive people apart, and my job is to pull them together around a vision for education that can deliver for our
Security
kids.
is also an issue in your state. We've been talking about the Supreme Court. Some of those justices live in Virginia. Do you have confidence justices who live in Virginia are adequately protected?
Our judges in Virginia are adequately protected. I wish we could do more. This is why I've called on Attorney General Garland to enforce the federal law. which is so clear. You can't parade and picket in front of a judge's home and try to influence them. And I've been consistent in calling on him to please enforce the law. We have substantial state resources positioned right around from the justices' homes. I speak to them frequently to make sure that they feel adequately protected, and I'm encouraged by those conversations. This is not a moment where we can allow anything to happen to our justices. Broadly speaking, this is about democracy.
On the court is moving right now on several different fronts. It could move on same-sex marriage in the coming years. Will you take any steps to codify same-sex marriage in Virginia?
I believe that what the Supreme Court has done most recently is so with what we know the Constitution stands for, which is returning the rights to states to make these decisions like Roe v. Wade, protecting, in fact, the right of lawmakers to make laws, not an executive branch to pass rules and regulations that overstep boundaries. This is what the Supreme Court has been so focused
marriage
on.
Or not?
In Virginia, we actually do protect same-sex marriage in Virginia. That's the law in Virginia, and therefore, as governor of Virginia, we protect same-sex marriage. I think what's happening right now is that there are so many elements that are trying to pull people apart, and we have a chance to pull them together.
This is Chris Dolan of the Dolan Law Firm.
Hey everybody! Hey Dad, what makes you think that you can say you're the best personal injury law firm?
Well, Audrey, the Dolan Law Firm has been designated as the best personal injury law firm in San Francisco by the Examiner and the Weekly, amongst the best personal injury law firms in the nation by U.S. News and World Report, and I was chosen as one of the top personal injury lawyers in all of California by the Daily Journal. I can say confidently, the Dolan Law Firm, we're the best lawyers we've DolanLawFirm.com.
KCBS, in partnership with UCSF Health, presents As Prescribed, a weekly conversation with leading medical experts from UCSF Medical Center and UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital. Hear from the experts. For innovations in patient care, the latest medical knowledge, and pioneering research. As Prescribed, every Thursday at 1:30 on KCBS 740 AM and 106.9 FM, and streaming on the Odyssey app.
A bad team facing a good team is never completely out of it.
Nick Kostos, co-host of You Better You Bet, 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on the BetQL network.
There's 162 games in the season. The best teams are going to lose 60-plus times, and the worst teams are going to win 60-plus times. Each side is its own individual entity. That's what makes betting on the baseball regular season so much fun.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and Ken Barkley, streaming weekdays from 3 to 7 p.m. Eastern on Odyssey.
Thanks for calling 1-800-GOT-JUMP. This is Sarah. How can I help?
I want to hear that sound again.
We make jump.
All you have to do is point. That's the sound?
That's the sound of the room getting bigger
And cleaner.
and happier.
I love a happy room.
Is there anything else we can do for you?
I'd like you to come to my house right before we go on vacation.
You want to come home to a big, clean, happy house?
Nothing better than that.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUMP.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Former President Trump's top White House lawyer, Pat Cipollone, talked with the January 6th committee for 8 hours Friday. The committee that they received critical testimony on nearly every major topic in its investigation, reinforcing key points regarding Donald Trump's misconduct and providing highly relevant new information that will play a central role in its upcoming hearings. We're back with Maryland Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin. He will be a lead questioner in Tuesday's January 6th committee hearing. Good morning, Congressman. Thanks for being here.
Delighted to be with you, Robert.
A rare statement from the committee characterizing Cipollone's testimony from Friday. What will we hear Tuesday, and will it include some of Cipollone?
Well, we're going to continue the story of Donald Trump's attempt to overthrow the 2020 presidential election. And at the last hearings, we showed how lots of doors were closing on him, if not all the way, at least part of the way, in the state legislatures. That didn't work for him. Mini coup didn't really work for him. The attempt to get DOJ to say that the election was corrupt had not come through. The effort to intimidate election officials like Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger in Georgia had not succeeded. But now he